To accommodate the number of patients that were affected by Hurricane Sandy, the nor'easter, and transportation challenges, the MLK-1 Ronald H. Brown Harlem Hospital Ambulatory Care Medical Clinic and pharmacy service hours are as follows. On Friday, November 9th, the Ronald H. Brown Building, full ambulatory care operation hours are from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The walk-in primary medicine clinic, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pharmacy, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. On Saturday, November 10th, the Ronald H. Brown Building, walk-in primary medicine clinic, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pharmacy, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Possible pediatric session pending. Sunday, November 11th, the MLK-1 Building, fast track, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. On Monday, November 12th, the Ronald H. Brown Building, walk-in primary medicine clinic, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pharmacy, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Ronald H. Brown Clinic and Pharmacy are located in the Ron Brown Building at 137th Street between Lenox and 5th Avenue. The medical clinic is located on the 3rd floor, the pharmacy located on the 1st floor. The MLK-1 building is located on the corner of 135th Street and Lenox Avenue. If you need additional information, contact the Ambulatory Care Administration Office at 212-939-8044. That's 212-939-8044.
Welcome to Another Perspective. Another Perspective is a public affairs program that focuses on many of the issues that affect and concern our communities. I am Henry Porcher, and I'm here with my co-host,
Joseph Hayes.
And we're also joined by our audio technician,
Reggie Mitchell.
And we're coming to you live from the campus of City College, right here in the village of Harlem. This is Whcr 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. And our calling number, if you want to join in the discussion, it's 212-650-6903, 212-650-6903. And the webcast is www.whcr.org, www.whcr.org. And we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back to you, so don't touch that dial.
He moved away one day from his way here in Harlem. I know that Marvin Gaye used to play right here. Somebody say you can't keep me away from where I was born. I was baptized by my daddy's horn. No, you can't keep me away from where I was born. I was baptized to the sound of horn.
Hi, welcome back. You're listening to WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem, and this program is called Another Perspective. And before we go any further, we'd be remiss if we did not acknowledge and send out our condolences out to all those who were affected by this, the Hurricane Sandy. All life is precious, so we're truly we send out our heartfelt condolences to all those families. In this first half hour, we figured we would talk about this week's election. We're also going to be joined with our one of our producers, Brother Kadir Perez, and we're just going to have a discussion. And we hope that you, the listener, would call in, join in. Remember, that number is 212-650-6903, 212-650-6903. So, Tuesday, well, let me just talk about me.
Obama.
But now, I spent a lot of time online. So when I went to the election, like 6:30 Tuesday morning, I was on the line again. And like I was telling the people, they said, "Oh, the line." I said, "Man, I had been on gas lines." So, just to be on that line for something which I think is extremely important was, it was an honor, really. I was surprised. But then I figured so many people with that 6:30, so many people on their way to work. So it was,
Yeah, it was an interesting turnout. I was kind of on the line about maybe 9 or 10 o'clock myself. And I was quite surprised at the turnout. Like I had asked a previous guest of ours, what was their thoughts about what would be happening on that day, and they weren't quite sure, and I wasn't quite sure what would the turnout be. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that people were out with the same level or the same amount of intensity at this particular election. So it was a good turnout. I was very pleased by what I saw.
You know what it also showed me. The corporate media is always complicit with the power structure. They continue to give these headlines. They talk about how the youth vote is not there. So a lot of young people.
Yeah, it was a lot of people. It was a lot of old folks.
Yes.
And I played a part. I guess we took some people to the polling stations and places. So everybody did their part, and we won decidedly, and I was very happy about the outcomes. And I'm sitting here, Henry, and I want to talk about the victory that we as a country have now welcomed and look and hope that would happen. So we've done that, But for me right now, Henry, I can focus in. And I'm sitting here, and I know you really want to talk about the election, but for some reason, man, what's been weighing heavier on my mind is all of the devastation that this country or this city has faced as a result of Hurricane Sandy.
Absolutely.
And I'm feeling a sense of powerlessness because I'm saying I haven't done enough to help, And I remember feeling that way once before when 9/11 came, like I hadn't done enough. And so now, in the face of this victory, of having our president once again for 4 more years, that's a done deal, But these folks that are dealing with Sandy are still dealing with the devastation. There are families who have nothing. And I work with families now, and I see it on a daily basis. And not even just families that may come in my professional capacity, but my colleagues who have experienced the devastation themselves. So, so I got 2 things that's going on. I got this high with, President Obama. And then, I got this other thing that's happening that just seems to be very constant. I haven't even begun to really appreciate what having President Obama again really means because it's been overshadowed to me with what's going on with the devastation. Related to Hurricane Sandy.
Yes.
So, and then behind that, coupled with that, is the nor'easter, which compounded some of the damage that was already done. We still got people without lights. I had a couple of family members that didn't have no lights, man. And people that I know directly who lost everything. Yes. So what do we do, man? That's where I'm kind of stuck at. I got this. I'm really happy about that, but I haven't been able a chance to really absorb that because that thing with the folks and the devastation in this city, man, not even in this country, but I know this happened in other places around the country, but right in the city, man, where we live at, There's just been so much damage.
Yeah, well, one of the things I think that's really important to look at in terms with, for many years, there's a segment of the population, particularly those segment in the power, who have constantly said there's no such thing as global warming. Denied it, just continued to deny the fact that there's global warming, but this hurricane disputes all that. So I think watching Governor Cuomo, he mentioned global warming. And I sat there and I watched these talking heads, and they just went on and on and on. None of them had the courage to say global warming,
Right.
to account for. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, New York is, we're below sea level.
Yes.
So we're the same just as New Orleans. So there's talk now about building levees because this is not something that given the climatic change that the planet's undergoing, this is not the first. This is not the last time this is going to happen.
Won't be the last time.
So now, hopefully, there will be steps to start repairing infrastructure to start. Instead of spending all this obscene amount of money on wars, they need to start.
We need to start preparing for things that we can
taking care of home.
Yeah,
you know. So, in the sense that so the hurricane, I think that was important because it's talking about global warming. But I think also another thing, the hurricane stopped a lot of people didn't vote because of the hurricane. So there's some people that are saying that could have contributed to Obama's victory as well, even though I don't believe that's the case.
No. I know the black vote came out a lot larger this time than they did the last time. I mean, they talked about it a lot, and you remember what Governor Cuomo did. He said you can vote anywhere. He put out an order, executive order, saying that you can vote anywhere. It doesn't matter. So that helped a lot too. And I know once again we wasn't ready for this. Once again, we was not as prepared as we thought we should have been, because folks take for granted that we live in New York City, that we don't need to have a stock up on batteries, water, all those type of accessories. So folks is running around trying to get all that stuff at the last minute. You have to be prepared. Now's the time. Now go out and get your batteries. Home Depot has lots of flashlights, batteries. Go get them now and stock up on all that stuff.
Absolutely.
No, one thing I'd like to say, and Henry was just alluding to, that this might have been the catalyst for Obama winning with the storm coming in here, and I don't really I don't go with that because these are this northern part, the tri-state, Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York State are basically Democratic states.
Right.
You know, they're a blue state, considering, if you want to go to the colors of what they're talking about, that's a blue state. They're gonna win hands down. It seems like I can't remember ever these three states ever becoming into a Republican into their roads, into their spectrum. So it was like if they want to use that, which they usually do, they use that kind of stuff. But I was listening to a report about the devastation, and what I saw. What I saw when I watched TV, when I was watching, because they had it 24/7 on every channel, and whatever, and I ain't got cable. I just got the converter box, but I was able to see enough, And what happened was that I didn't see us. I didn't see enough black folks at the beginning. In the first 5-6 days, I didn't see enough black folks, you know what I mean? And not to say, I'm not taking anything away from the devastation that happened down on the Jersey Shore, because those people are, they hurting. They're hurting in Staten Island,
It's funny that you mentioned that, though, because I do. I see them. I've been talking to them. I've been working with them. So I see us and how we've been impacted, even myself, man, because as a direct result of Hurricane Sandy and all of the stuff that's been going on.
But that's you talking about on the personal.
No, even on the professional level.
No. I mean, but you didn't see it on the media.
It was
Well,
on
the media is only going to portray what they comfortable and what they used to doing and what they've been told to do. So, but I'm saying, we know that we've been devastated by this hurricane also. So you're right about that. Like there are a lot of faces that don't represent us that are being talked about and seen. This morning, Sakanya, on Channel 11, there was a lot of news coverage on about what was happening in Staten Island, and they weren't letting people of color that were really depicted in devastation. But you could rest and be assured that there were a lot of African American folks and Hispanic folks that lost a lot of stuff. But you don't see that.
Right.
And I think that's the main thing. That in spite of so when many people go, particularly in this week's Amsterdam, they refer to it as our neighborhoods was just treated the same way as Katrina, and images are real important. And if you don't show the whole total image of what's happening in this city, then you're doing a disservice.
Well,
you're doing a disservice.
Again, that takes us back to some of our earlier conversations, man. Like, I'm not surprised, and we should not be surprised by what we see.
Oh no, we're not surprised.
No one's surprised. That's not a surprise.
So then, when we give a voice to that, and we put the energy in that direction, we take away from what we already know. What I think what it does, it allows a desensitivity in terms of certain people's plight. If you just focus on one person suffering and ignore everybody else's, that's a disservice. It's a disservice. I mean, that's what I think. I think it's just you totally ignore segments, large segments of this city.
Well, and you're right. But what I like to say is that when that happens, and my point is that when that happens, and this might lead into what you were talking about, Joseph, that when that kind of stuff happens, when they don't show us or we don't see ourselves on the media and such as that, listen, they ain't going to do it, so we got to do it.
That's my point.
And I understand your point. I see where you're coming from.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and we have to get to that point and understand that this is about us. When it comes to that, and we yell FEMA, and we yell local governments, and we yell state government help, and we yell that, we got listen, this is our community, and they don't come. It's already been proven. You know what I mean?
Historically, we have proof that doesn't happen the way we think it should
Right.
happen. And it's like placing an unrealistic expectation on an outcome that we know is not going to happen.
Right.
We talked about that today, Kadir, when you was telling me about a young lady that was in the projects doing some things that she just said it has to be done. Let's go to a station.
Okay, we got to go to a station break, but callers, don't forget to call in 212-650-6903. Get in on this conversation. We'll go to a station break, and we'll be right back.
1960 who? 1960 what? 1960 who? Hey, the Motor City is burning.
Hey, this is Joseph Hayes inviting you to tune into Another Perspective every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. Another Perspective is a community affairs show that brings you information, news, solutions, and entertainment, all from another perspective. That's Another Perspective with your hosts Henry Portia, Reggie Mitchell, and yours truly, Joseph Hayes. That's every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. on Whcr 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem.
I found out on my way to Harlem.
Before we came back, we was
Welcome
just
back.
talking
We
about...
just had a discussion off air.
Yeah, but he was talking about, folks' feelings about whether or not it's a we thing when we talk about the victory. Did we win? So that's a pretty interesting, I feel like we won because I voted, and I voted because I felt that out of the two candidates that were being discussed, and I'm sure there were more candidates, and that's an issue in and of itself that we didn't really know, or they wasn't even allowed or privy to the debates, and why they wasn't, that's a whole nother story. But I was saying that we won, and my co-host and was saying that he's not quite sure. He can say for himself, but I'm just saying I felt we won, and that's because I placed my vote, and so my vote was, I pray all the time that it was one of the deciding votes, even though I know that's not true either. But okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, you're listening to WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem.
It's okay.
WHCR 90.3 FM. And I heard someone say the other day, he was saying had Romney won, it would have been a catastrophe, and Barack Obama, it was a disaster. And all I'm saying is that, and I'm not a person who thinks that Obama can come in and solve all the ills and all the things that have happened the previous 8 years prior to him being elected. But and I know the president can only do so much,
Right.
You know. So but he's still. I look at the fact that the people that he brought in, the Geithners, the Summers, Larry Summers, he brought in people who had caused this problem. So I'm not going to ignore that. And one of the things, I don't think nobody is above criticism. Just can't. I don't think that's possible.
Okay. Now I'm kind of confused here.
Call in, please.
Yeah, call in. Give him a call.
Call in, please. 212-650-6903. I know your callers have a lot you want to say about this topic. Please call in, call us.
Okay, so we started out this segment. We started out today's show with wanting to talk about the victory and what it meant for our country, and we were rejoicing in the fact that I thought. And that was a consensus that we felt that we won. Well, how wrong was I now? Because I'm just saying, I'm happy about the fact that this is my opinion on another perspective. I'm happy that an African American man who looks like me and my people won this election, and he will go down in history. Again. And I will feel as a part of that, because of the part that I played with casting my vote, that this man is a part of it. Now, all of the other stuff, as far as what he had to do in order to, did he have to play politics? He certainly did. Yes. I felt that he did. I felt that anything contrary to that would have caused him great physical harm and maybe harm to his family. So I think that there are a whole lot of reasons why he had to do what he did, and none of them I am privy to. So that of itself is what that is. Do I think, this next term will decide his legacy? So what he does now, like if he chooses to stand on some principle and do some things differently than he did the first time, will he just take some other people contrary to what people telling him that he has to do? I don't know. But I'm just happy that he's an African American man.
Before we go to that call.
Well, Yaya's going to stay there because he's listening, Yaya. We're going to get to you, Yaya.
Okay. There was no mention about homelessness. There was no mention about poverty.
That's not true. I heard it.
I didn't hear it.
Okay,
I
heard it. I heard it in the debate. He talked about it.
The stop and frisk. There were a lot of things that I think just in terms of it's happening.
That's a New York City.
Please.
It's a country thing,
please,
but I don't think.
No, that is not a New York City thing. That's a nation thing. That's a nationwide problem.
That's more like.
It's a nationwide problem.
I think if he would have kind of tried to address that, it would have went to am I taking a position on blacks issues that really affect?
But you know what? Well, we're gonna go to.
Okay, brother Yaya, you're on. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah.
Brother Yaya, you still there?
Thank you.
Good afternoon, brother.
Thank you. I missed you guys last week during the storm, but I did.
We missed you too.
I did come on. There's a few points y'all made, and I have to try to put all this together once. First of all, I'm glad that the president was reelected, President Barack Obama, so he can finish the work that he started. I think he has a more level playing field now, and I think that we'll get more things done, number one. Number two...
Did you say we?
When I say we as a country, we as a people.
I got you.
Okay, number two, we were blessed up here by the grace of God and my understanding, that we didn't get any of that storm. I'm up here in Poughkeepsie, and we were like in an elbow. The storm came ashore, it went west, then it went north, and we weren't touched. Thank God.
That's great. God bless you and your family.
Number 3, there was some, the devastation that took place out there was really bad. I really felt bad. My wife and myself, we made some contributions, but like you said, or like you guys were saying, the media they're very selective of what they show on TV about who and what. My wife came in here a few minutes ago, and she was crying about this young lady that was informed by her husband to get out of her vehicle with her children, and a couple of her children were swept away.
Yes, that was Staten Island.
Okay.
Yes,
Staten Island, right. Yeah. And she was saying to me, she said the woman asked for help prior to that.
She knocked on doors
to her neighbors, and nobody would help her.
Nobody opened
and my
door.
wife was sitting crying. She said, well, why nobody helped her? And, I said, whatever happened, I'm not even going to stand here and sit here and say it's God's will. It happened, and people have to live with their action or their inactions. That's something that's going to have to be lived with by people. For myself personally, we've lived with the idea that we were untouchable, the New York City or state, but we are touchable, and things going to happen. It will happen. We just going to have to make the adjustments as it does. I'm a veteran of a foreign war, and I've seen some devastation that I don't think the United States would be able to recover from. There are things going on in this world that is so traumatic, and we see on TV exactly what they show you again, but we can't see or feel the devastations. This last incident now has kind of opened some people's eyes. Mm-hmm. So maybe we can join together as people trying to survive versus the individual neighborhoods and the ghettos and the Staten Islands and the South Jerseys, and you don't see the mixture of people. You just see certain groups of people. Maybe this would change some minds. That's all I got.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother Yaya.
Yeah, thank you. And I agree. Maybe something like this could unify and bring some, some light, or people could see some things. What they didn't show you was the 9th Ward or the 10th Ward or anything like that. Those are things that those were devastating things too. So. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that call.
Yeah. You know what? Thank you, brother Yaya. And what he remind me of, basic humanity. That's what my point when I was talking about. When you just showing one side, one segment of people, it's like you're ignoring humanity, and I think that's where many times the major media, they just fall down completely on their job, because I'm a person who, not too long ago, all those people had to get into activism to even get those jobs. So now, since people say, oh well, we got somebody, we can turn on. We look at the TV and we can see somebody, a reporter like us, standing in front of, but it's still the underlying core is racism, and I'm gonna say it, racism.
I don't know. I guess that's what makes for good conversation, because people do not have to agree about the content of the conversation. Mm-hmm. Because and it's funny. It's really ironic. Because we can talk about all of the problems, right? But what is the solution? How do we display? See, because, again, when we talked about violence in the streets this summer, and we talked about some things, we can talk about what the issues, what the problem is. So we know that people in the positions of power that display the images that are projected to us as a nation, we know that they do what they do. I'm not surprised. Mm-hmm. I look at regular TV every day, and it's like you see one Negro or one African American on every show, and I even watch some shows when they might kill off one and put another one, but it's never going to be more than that one on the show. I watch stuff like that, and I'm not surprised. So that's what it is. Should it change? Will it ever change? I guess when we begin to change it, when we start owning radio stations, when we start owning television stations, and we start doing some things, and we have a control over the programming, when we start owning black news stations, and then we start projecting the news that we want to see, then we'd be in a position to do that. Right now, unfortunately, we are not.
But
I would like to say
this is a platform, and one of the things when you have a platform and you throw out an opinion, it may be provocative, but it spurs thought, and someone says, "Oh, wow, I hadn't thought about that," and so you say, "Well, hey, maybe I'm not going to listen to XYZ station. Maybe I'm not going to buy a ABC newspaper because I don't see." Whereas it's just like, for instance, the Daily News endorsed Romney. You know, I still see people sitting there, those papers. Why are they still patronizing these kinds of
I think
things?
people should stop reading the Daily News because they endorse Romney.
I think they should stop buying it.
Well,
I think they should stop buying it.
You heard it first. We need to do a station break.
We have another caller.
We need to do a station break. WHCR 90.3 FM.
Right.
Yeah, we got a caller, right?
Well,
I don't know. You know, like, again, that's what makes for good conversation is that we don't all have to agree. You know, like,
well, one thing that you said, let me cross you for a second. Let me jump in there, and you said, you know, what's the solution?
what's the solution?
The solution is action.
Right.
You know, we gotta start taking steps, and we can't just have the conversation no more. We done conversation ourselves out. We done talked ourselves out. We done meeting ourselves out. And every time we turn around, we having a meeting, we having this, and then when the meeting breaks up, everybody goes home. And you know, where does anybody go out the Far Rockaway? And we're just using that as an example for today. Does anybody go to the Red Hook? You know, does anybody go to Breezy Point? You know, has anybody put their boots on and got muddy and wet and carried took a
bag of groceries to somebody who ain't got it?
An inner tube out there. See, that's for me. That's the part that I want to get at.
Me too.
You know,
Me
like,
too.
you know, because I mean, I love this forum, you know what I mean? And we're here for an hour, and we talk for an hour, man, and we say what we say. And people, you know, they invoke that, they take that in, you know, but after we finish this, they say, okay, the four of us got in our cars or got in one of our cars, and we all went someplace, man, and did something, man, bag up some sandwiches or something like that.
That could be what we said we did.
Exactly, you know.
What did we do?
Yeah.
Because there's 4 men here with 4 bags with 4 cars.
Yep.
What did we do?
Yes, sir.
We have a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Louise, and I'm calling from Harlem.
Hi, Miss Louise.
Hi, Louise.
How
Go
are
ahead.
you?
Good afternoon.
The first caller or the last caller you had, I agree with everything he said, but I'm not a religious person, but sometimes things happen for a reason, and it seems like it's a greater hand than we. Because the people on Staten Island and in Long Island who lost everything, they are the people who are constantly complaining, I don't want to pay taxes because my taxes are going to these black people and they want everything, and I don't feel like I should have to pay for them, blah, blah, blah. Now they have lost everything. And only the federal government could really put them back to where they were. And Bloomberg, I just wrote a note to somebody and said, Bloomberg has Negroized the white people who lost everything. Because basically he's just treating them like black people, like you're not important to me. And those are the people who vote him into office and keep him in office.
That's a good point.
Thank you, Louise.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Keep calling.
We was all pretty kind of speechless behind that one.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
Louise
you know,
right
like I was saying, my girlfriend was talking to a friend of hers last night, and her girlfriend's mother lives in Coney Island. She lost everything. Coney Island. So that's what I'm saying. So the perception with some people is it's only happening to one certain group of people, and that's not the case.
I guess that could be the perception, but I guess if you are in it and you work it and you see it and you know it and you have your hands on it, you know that that's not the truth. And so I deal with the realities every day. That is not my perception. That is not the perception of, I guess, of any of the men that are in this studio right now, that it has only impacted white America.
No.
We know better than that. And white America knows better than that. And shame on them. if they're not projecting the images that would reflect the whole country and how it's been affected by this.
So during the prior to Sandy hitting, I'm on the phone, man, because I got cousins that live in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And Atlantic City is what kind of island do they call that? A barrage island?
Barrier.
A barrier island.
Barrier island,
Well,
yeah.
Atlantic City is a barrier island, And as Sandy was coming in, my cousin Maria was saying her son didn't want to leave his house. And while he was talking, the water was up to where your dining room table was at while he was talking. This is before I got into Atlantic City, So I'm feeling that already. Then I know that some of my other cousins actually had to evacuate another part of Atlantic City where they had to, where they're right on the water. My cousin Maria, she had to go someplace else, to an upper part. My cousin Rosalie and her husband, they had to go someplace else. So I'm feeling that, and I'm calling them up, and not getting no answer after a while. You know what I mean? Nobody's reciprocating and stuff. So I'm feeling that. I understand that. I understand devastation. Because family is family, and I'm not just I'm not excluding my family as folks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I got a personal understanding.
We all do. We
a
all
blow
do.
by blow.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Let me just say that as a member of BIR, and this is another perspective as a BIR production, we are taking donations in our clubhouse.
Yes, we are.
Somebody give us the who has the address?
It's 215.
No, 115.
115. Okay, 115 at West Edgecombe Avenue. That's between 140th and 141st Street.
Right. We have some barrels that we're collecting
Yes.
clothes, and if brothers want to.
And canned goods.
And canned goods. If you want to come
Absolutely.
and drop off some stuff, someone is usually there between the hours of.
It
It
fluctuates,
varies, but just keep trying. We're taking
Yeah.
donations. We're gonna take that stuff someplace and give it to some people that are in need. So that's the small role that we can play in helping as much as we can.
And if you want a number to call is 347-661-1637, and we'll come and pick it up.
Right.
347-661-1637. We'll come and pick up whatever donations you have for the Sandy Relief Fund.
Caller?
Okay, caller, you're on the air. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, this is Millie, and I'm calling from Suffolk County, and
Hi,
I have
Millie.
a few things I'd like to say. First of all, can I just ask one thing? Now, you say you're looking for donations. Can you tell me what are you looking for? Anything specific or just whatever?
Well, Millie, I guess it would be non-perishable items. It could be coats, it could be clothing, toothpaste, anything.
Okay, good.
'cause,
Okay, that's good enough.
Folks
Okay.
lost everything.
All right, that's okay. Fine. I just heard that. Now, what I wanted to say, and I have a few things. I'm going to try to hurry it.
Okay,
now, first of all, I think, like with Donald Trump, I don't know. I know he has a casino, and I think we need to boycott him and the casino and whatnot. I know you're not able to say that, but I think that we should do that as a people and
you
don't
can.
participate in anything that he does, including that show. I've never watched it, but I know he has a program on TV or something.
The Apprentice.
Okay, whatever. So I think that we really need to boycott him because he's horrible. And okay, also as far as the newspaper, reading the newspaper, you can go to the library and read it free. You don't have to buy the newspaper. Like when Henry mentioned the Daily News, that we don't have to buy that nor anything else. And also, I'd like to say that the lady, my heart goes out to the lady who lost her children, and she has my deepest sympathy, and I'm sure all of us feel the same way, because that was really a horrible situation that happened with her losing her two babies like that. And there wasn't that much publicity about it. It was very little, by what I read. And another thing I'd like to say, today is the first time I heard about Rockaway or Coney Island
Whoa. I am so sorry.
Sorry,
Miss
Millie. We disconnect you. If
Call
you call
back.
Yeah, call back.
We,
we
Hello?
Hi, Millie. I'm
No.
sorry.
It's not Millie. Hi.
We said.
My name is Louise Marshall.
Hey,
Hi,
Louise.
Louise.
Hi, how are you? And I just wanted to kind of make mention of the correlation between what's happened with Hurricane Sandy and the election.
Okay.
Okay, my feeling is this. The things that are happening to the community in Far Rockaway, some in Staten Island, because we do have African Americans that live in Staten Island, have a lot to do with the fact that we do not generate the same type of energy about the election process unless someone is running for office, and that it is so imperative that we keep this fire. Everyone's happy that Barack Obama comes in, but as you know, the local politics is the reasons that we actually don't have as much empowerment in our community.
Absolutely.
And that we need to focus, take that energy, and stop having registration drives 6 months before the election, but to make it ongoing. We should be in the high schools when kids turn 18. We should always have a campaign for registration, and we should always be a part of, take that energy, that Barack Obama energy, and go to the community board meetings, the council meetings with the police. Let's not wait. We're always in a reactionary state. I'm mainly talking about the African American and Latino community. So I just think, I just wanted to make mention that, we need to take that energy and use it to be able to do things within our community instead of just waiting for the national election.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that.
Let me just read this from the Amsterdam. And they
Thank
talked
you.
about some of the black neighborhoods. They include Far Rockaway in Queens, in Staten Island, it's North Shore, and Canarsie, Red Hook, and Coney Island in Brooklyn. And in this week's Amsterdam, one of our brothers, Reverend Darren Ferguson of Mount Carmel Baptist Church, which is in Far Rockaway, he talked about, how he was asking why there's been no help from the city. His church, the basement has been flooded, and then also his home has gotten flood damage. So, and many of the people in those neighborhoods, they talked about looking at the Red Cross and FEMA trucks, vehicles coming through their neighborhoods
And passing
through their neighborhoods. So, those are the things that I think are just horrific.
Yeah. I know there are some men out there listening, some brothers out there listening. So give us a call at 212-650-6903. 212-650-6903.
And you're listening to WHCR 90.3 FM on the Voice of Harlem.
Right, another perspective.
Gentlemen, we're going to take a quick legal station break.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Okay, we're back on.
Right. Okay, so we've been talking about, and our last caller kind of tried to make the connection between Hurricane Sandy and what's going on in the political climate. And I agree with her wholeheartedly that we need to always mobilize that energy around what is happening on a local government basis, so we can really put our power and energy behind our local candidates, mayor, councilman, governor, and all of that type of stuff. And politicians, because we need to get behind that representation so we can be represented. I think far too often people are, not interested in what's happening on the local level.
And also take that concept, like Barack Obama said, when we get behind whatever local politician or state politician or something like that, make me do it. As Barack said, make me do it. So, we got to be in they, on their backs and say, well, we got you here, And when he opens up his door at his office, he see our face, so much,
We have a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Anthony, and I'm calling from Harlem.
Hey, Anthony, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Good.
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback the young lady about the local representation. I think it's very imperative that we get out there and not just elect for the big honchos, the presidents and the government. We need to vote for some of these locals and get them on their backs of doing something, because a lot of them, they sit back and they don't do what they're supposed to do. They want the elections, but they don't do what they need to do to keep the community right.
Right.
And I see that happening in a lot of places. And then I also like to piggyback the hurricane. The hurricane is, and the lady was saying that it could be something that is greater than ourselves that's handling this. Nature is nature, and we got to deal with it as that. And it doesn't have any color. It really don't have a color. There's a lot of people that live down in the Rockaways and everywhere else where I have lost family members. I haven't lost family members, but I have had people that I know of my own color and of different ethnic groups that I have worked with and things like that have had a lot of problems. I know an Indian guy that just lost everything out there in the Rockaways. So it's not just about projecting a color thing where the people is not doing enough of this and enough of that. Everybody is affected. This doesn't mean just one group. Everybody's affected. Nature affects everybody. It doesn't affect colors.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Anthony.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Talking
you.
about humanity.
Let me just say one thing. We have a lot of calls coming in, so bear with us, but keep calling. Keep calling. 212-650-6903.
No, Anthony made it. Anthony made an excellent point. You know, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. You know, it doesn't